We're very happy to say we can welcome on to the programme now Ruth Wasserman Lande. Until recently, she was a member of the Israeli parliament and also served as a senior advisor to the late President Shimon Peres. Welcome to you. Can we start on the city of Lod? What's happening there, Ruth, where your husband was deputy mayor and where there's now a state of emergency after rocket strikes and also fighting between the Arab and Jewish communities, I believe. What is the situation from what you know there?
Lod is the oldest city in Israel. In fact, very few people know it, but it's older than Jerusalem and Jaffa. There are about 35% of the population in the city is Arab. So in fact, it's a mixed Jewish-Arab city. People have been living together there for years and years. And in fact, during the last few years, during all the upheavals and the political upheavals, in fact, the Jews and Arabs there lived in peace. There were no incidents like the one we are seeing now. What has happened recently is, first of all, tragic. There's been a complete upset of the very delicate mutual living between Arabs and Jews. There have been many attacks on synagogues, burnings of classrooms, of places that are really civilian, that have nothing to do with military. And there were even a shooting at one of the incidents because there was a huge uproar of civilians attacking a Jewish group, and there was a shot being made, and one of the civilian Arabs was killed. Today, ironically, this morning, tragically, there was also two people, in fact, a father and a 16-year-old daughter who were Arab, who were killed by a rocket sent by Hamas to the city of Lod. In fact, what we are seeing is truly tragic.
This is the worst conflict since 2014, when more than 2,000 Palestinians, 73 Israelis died. Ruth, could this spiral into something as devastating or worse than that? Is that the view right now?
I can say that there are three, perhaps, aspects of this current I don't even know what to call it, whether it's a war, an uprising, tensions, everything together is correct, and yet not one of them truly depicts or illustrates the current situation. We have the issue, of course, which is clear-cut, a terrorist organization in Hamas from Gaza sending from civilian bodies, such as schools, civilian neighborhoods in Gaza, thereby actually threatening or putting in danger civilian population in Gaza, which is tragic in and within itself. Huge
just on that point, Ruth, 14 children have died from airstrikes by Israel on those areas believed to be where Hamas were doing rockets from, sending rockets from. That's too many, though, isn't it, of course, that perhaps more accuracy could have been used. Is that a fair allegation to be made at Israel?
I think it's completely unfair, frankly. Every child that is lost is a huge tragedy. My heart is with every one of those children and their mothers. And today we lost a 6-year-old child in a building in Sderot, in the south of Israel. I just want to remind the audience that children in Sderot are post-traumatic for years and years and years. Teenagers are peeing in their beds and children are shivering and shuddering when a door is being locked because of this post-trauma. So to make assessments and to call them fair when you make a one-sided statement is a very, very difficult way in which to interpret a very complex situation with a lot of civilian tragedy on both sides.
No, absolutely. I'm just talking about the actual accuracy, but I accept your point. Israel says that it's killed several top commanders of Hamas, including weapons-making experts, intelligence officers.
Yes.
To what extent could that weaken the group, or will others simply spring up in their place?
So first of all, specific assassinations are helpful because these people can no longer plan, no longer help in a war and killing effort, which again is directed towards civilians and directed from civilian populations. In fact, very ironically, a Jordanian top journalist wrote from the UAE, I think it was today or yesterday, that, and very bravely, I must admit, that the Hamas is using as human shields children, women, and men from Gaza who are in fact being kidnapped by the Hamas and used as human shields, from which they actually make the rockets fly towards Israel. It is helpful, but let me say this, no war is truly helpful. There needs to be a policy, a political solution. Is it easy? So for those people who are very, very critical, and there are many of them around the world, had it been easy, it would have been solved.
Okay.
The situation is extremely complex and very tragic.
Well, we appreciate you coming in the program and sharing your view with us. Ruth Wasserman Lande, former Israeli lawmaker and presidential advisor. Thank you.
Thank you so much.